So only two classes to cover as we head down the stretch run here of the high school preview show. We're now moving on to 2A. And the question there, hot or cold, Andrean is the best team in 2A. It was a team that won the state championship last year, and for that reason, not that reason solely though, I'm going to say that is a hot take. You return Scott Valentine at quarterback. He was third in 2A in passing, 2,860 yards, 27 touchdowns. They also have Drayk Bowen back. He was their leading rusher with 965 yards and 18 touchdowns. He was also the leading tackler, 105 tackles on the season, 3 sacks, 3 interceptions. And that was a defense that was ranked 30th. In terms of points allowed per game. They have a lot of other talent athletes on the defensive side of the ball as well. It was something where because when we did the state finals preview last year, I thought Drayk Bowen was like going to Notre Dame next year or for this season.
He should have been on Notre Dame this year.
Right. And so I was like, when I saw that he was back, I was like, oh, okay, well then 100%. It's that Andrean team is going to be tough to beat. So yeah. Andrean is the best team in 2A in my opinion.
And Andrean is coming into the season ranked 13th in the state overall. Right. Yeah, I jumped the gun. As a 2A school, I jumped the gun on that one prematurely earlier. I got my Marivals all screwed up. But yeah, I mean, it's a hot take. I mean, when you have a player that's committed to Notre Dame at the 2A level, I mean, that says something. I mean, let's just be honest. He's committed to Notre Dame. He's got Mr. Football in the bag. If he just shows up and produces, he's got Mr. Football in the bag. I don't know who else could really contend for it right now. So, I mean, when you look, I mean, a wide receiver, maybe Jerron Tibbs, if he just completely goes off, but I mean, it could because Danny O'Neal is not eligible as a junior. So,
well, it's the fact too that he makes an impact on both sides of the ball too. So he's not just like
let's also be honest, it's a little political, and he's going to Notre Dame.
I mean, fair, but I mean,
Jack Kaiser was the same situation. He was like a 2A, I believe, 1A, yeah, 1A,
Pioneer, yeah.
And he beat out George Karloftis and David Bell for Indiana Mr. Football. It's like, oh, it's because he's going to Notre Dame. Okay, politics, got it. Because like David Bell and George Karloftis were like the Gatorade Indiana high school football players of the year. I don't know who won it, but like Jack Kaiser wasn't even on the radar for that, and it was named Mr. Football. So, yeah.
Well, Drayk also Bowen, though,
Mr. Football, call it now.
Who decides the Gatorade? Because I'm sure they didn't look deeper, all the way deep enough to look at 1A talent either.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, come on. I mean, how do you not notice? Oh, there's the player of the year in Indiana. We're just not gonna. Yeah, I mean, it's not like it wasn't plastered everywhere that Jack Kaiser, Indiana's Mr. Football. I mean, but yet the recruiting rankings did not rank him as the number one player in the state of Indiana.
Right.
So yeah, Drayk Bowen, calling it now. But yeah, this is definitely a hot take. I mean, when you have that level of talent in 2A, good luck to the other teams.
We also want to say good luck to the teams that we talk about for our toughest sectional. Because like 3A, there's not really a sectional with 3 or 4 tough teams, but I'm going with, this one is a little tougher to pick, but the one I'm going with is sectional 35. They have Eastside and Fort Wayne Lures, who are both top 5 teams in 2A last season, as well as top 50 teams in the state in terms of the Sagarin ratings. Both teams lost a lot of talent, but if they have similar success, the winner of that sectional will go a long way. So not a lot of deep cuts on this one, but I think that will be a tough sectional to watch.
Yeah, that one is going to be tough. I mean, you also got Central Noble in there. They're typically up there. I mean, just looking around at these, I mean, I guess if another one I had to look at is sectional 38. I mean, you got Heritage Christian, Cardinal Ritter, Eastern Hancock, Northeastern. I mean, there's some pretty good talent there. I mean, Cardinal Ritter and Heritage Christian should be a pretty good matchup right there. So if I had to look at another one that kind of does stand out to me, I would have to say sectional 38 does as well.
Heritage Christian, you might hear a little bit about them later. I mean, I looked at that sectional as well, and I think that sectional is going to be good in terms of. I think that's just going to be an entertaining sectional. I think
I
there's
mean,
going to be a
also
lot of
sectional 40. I mean, you got Evansville, Mater Dei, North Posey, Tell City, and Forest Park.
yeah,
I mean, I guess maybe that would be a really good one for basketball, but
yeah.
I mean, football. I mean, Evansville Mater Dei is,
Runner up
is a
last year.
yeah, they're a pretty good program. I mean, Evansville Mater Dei is just good at everything. It seems like because they're a private school and they can, you know.
You mentioned him. We talked about briefly earlier, and you pick him as the Mr. Football coming out of Indiana this year. Player to watch: Andrean, running back, linebacker Drayk Bowen. He was 10th in 2A in touchdowns last season with 21. He had 18 rushing with 965 yards on the ground. He was top 30 in 2A in terms of tackles with 105. He was a force on a strong Andrean defense last season. He's a Notre Dame commit. And if he can have similar success, to last season, 20 touchdowns, maybe get over 1,000 yards rushing. If he can be impactful on offense and defense again, I think Drayk Bowen's going to be set for a special year. So that's my player to watch for this season.
I mean, yeah, Drayk Bowen's a given as a player to watch, but I'm actually going to watch his quarterback, Scott Valentine. Honestly, if Drayk Bowen's going to have the kind of year that he's going to have, he's going to need some other players on his team to step up and kind of take the load off a little bit because everybody knows Drayk Bowen's coming. Everybody's going to prepare for Drayk Bowen. Let's just be honest. I mean, whether or not they can stop him is another thing. But if you want this team to go as far as they believe they can go again, you need some other players to step up. And the first player that really is going to have to help make that happen is Scott Valentine. I mean, look, he did throw last year for over 2,800 yards and 27 touchdowns. If he can put up those kind of numbers again and kind of spread the ball around and cause defenses to have to spread out and not just key in on Drayk Bowen, this team can be really special, and Drayk Bowen can have a really special season.
So wrapping it up here for 2A, my dark horse and state champion. My dark horse is Heritage Christian. Mentioned him a little bit earlier in the program. They finished 2A number 3 last season. They bring back quarterback Kyle Antone, who returns as a top 15 passer in class, 1,420 passing yards, 16 touchdowns. He had 400 plus rushing yards as well. They returned some key members on the defensive side of the ball from last season. They were top 65. They were top 65 in the state in offensive average, defensive average, and margin of victory. Coach Kyle Ray has done a lot of great things with that squad since taking over 7 seasons ago, and I think they could make a run. Also, I wanted to make a little bit more of a sympathy, not sympathy. What's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it, but sentimental. There we go. That's the word I wanted. More of a sentimental pick because I did get to call a game.
Used to call them.
Well, no, I didn't call Heritage Christian, but I called. Kyle Ray was like our coach analyst in one of the state finals games that I broadcasted for Indiana SRN. So
you did call them. You did call them once. I was supposed to fill in for you one time, and then I was told I wasn't wanted.
Yeah, I did do their game against what was it, Indianapolis Shortridge. I did that game that they played because I think Park Tudor or whoever we were, Traders Point, I think had an off week. Or yeah, that's what it was. They were playing Anderson Prep Academy, Traders Point was, and they didn't have I think they ended up suspending their football program. So they're like, hey, we need to put you on a game, so let's do Heritage Christian. So that was fun. Got to meet Kyle Ray. He's an awesome guy, and I hope they're gonna have a good season.
Heritage Christian has really nice facilities for a 2A.
Yeah,
I mean, considering this is a team. This is a program that hasn't been in existence very long. And like, I think it was like their second or third year in existence. They were state runner up. And for the longest time, they did not have a home field to play on. They played at Lawrence North when LN was on the road. So they played on Saturdays. I believe they played a lot of games on Saturdays, but now they have a beautiful field. I mean,
beautiful field, beautiful press box that sits like on
beautiful
top
press
of their
box.
gym.
Yeah, yeah.
which is crazy. So yeah, I think they'll have a good year. But yeah, state champion goes without saying. Pretty much, I think it's going to be Andrean again. It's tough to ignore the talent they return. Talked about it extensively already. They bring back so much talent on offense and defense. They have two of the best players in the state, and Scott Valentine and Drayk Bowen. I know it's boring to to pick a repeat champion. I know we've got long-winded with our talking about how good Andrean is, but it's because they're so gosh darn good. So I've got Andrean as my state champion for 2.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Heritage Christian is definitely a good dark horse. I'm looking at them. I'm also looking at Evansville Mater Dei as your state runner-up. It's always hard to tell. Mater Dei is always consistent. It seems like in any sport. They get these kids that start playing sports at a young age, and they grow up through the Mater Dei system. And by the time they get up to high school, they're lights out. And it's been that way for a very long time. Trust me, I know. I was a wrestler and wrestled against Evansville Mater Dei, so that's their main sport. They just breed wrestlers down there for some reason. But it's tough to pick between Heritage Christian and Evansville Mater Dei. Heritage Christian is the known commodity that I feel like could overtake Mater Dei and make that trip to the state championship game. But yeah, my state champ is Andrean as well. I mean, I don't need to go any further than that.